Hi, welcome back to Live and Breathe Horses. And today we are going on with this amazing collection of stories about Tom Dorrance, More Than a Horseman. And the stories were collected by Margaret Dorrance and John St. Ryan and put together in this beautiful book, which I hope you will all go out and buy. So today's story comes from Sheila Varian. I had won the Cow Palace and was back teaching school every day and riding horses in the afternoon. A small, older truck with a tiny camper bed chugged up the hill to the house. Amid my dog barking, I walked out to see who it was. A short, stocky man with a shy smile opened the truck door, climbed out, and introduced himself as Tom Dorrance. I had not heard of him. He asked if he could look in the barn, and I, glad to have a little interruption, said, "Sure." We walked around the 6 stalls and made appreciative comments about the barn, the horses, where I lived, and then mentioned that he was travelling, learning about horses. Tom said he'd learned some interesting things about horses. My ears perked immediately. "Really?" said I. "I saw you show your bay mare at the Salinas Rodeo and she did a good job," said Tom. "I thought you might like to visit for a while. How about looking at the bay horse over there?" With that little introduction, my philosophy about working with horses was given direction. I'm a horse lover, so hurting a horse to teach him never felt right. Tom has become, with his quiet, thoughtful nature, in my mind, the greatest influence on understanding the horse's mind of any one person in the history of the horse. In the quiet days we spent together at my house, he opened his knowledge of the mind of this horse I loved so. That the horse is a herd animal, and all of his reactions are genetically engineered to reacting as a herd animal. That given the choice, the horse will always seek out the comfortable way. That we need to encourage the horse to trust us as we impart information, but he must be a partner in the decision making. Walking into a stall with the bay filly, Tom's strong, gentle hands massaged the top of her neck, just behind the ears. At first, she tightened her neck muscles and raised her head. Tom continued massaging with just enough pressure for her to make a choice. Resist the strong massaging hands and lift her head, or relax and drop her head. Momentarily she resisted, tensing her neck, and Tom continued massaging, not pushing her head down, simply applying pressure between his fingers. "Adding life to my hands," he said. Seeking a little more comfort than she was getting, the filly lowered her head, and Tom, squeezing fingers, softened and then relaxed. A moment later, he applied his fingers to her neck again, and she immediately softened and lowered her neck. Tom started talking about trust and partnerships, that we show the horse the door and then open the door. If we open the door and we haven't created mental barriers of fear, the horse will look for the open door every time. If the horse's mind is cluttered with doubt, it will take longer for it to find the door. But we can regain the trust simply by setting up situations in which the horse will be successful and gain trust by the comfort of going through the door. Simplistic as that sounds, it was quite mind-boggling to put into action. My feet and hands and eyes had to learn to see and feel, then be able to move when the horse was in the process of responding as I wanted him to. It took more time and effort than a person would like to admit to become proficient in guiding the horse to make the choices we had in mind for them. Tom left me with my mind going round and round and round. I felt as though my eyes were crossed and coming out both ears. I couldn't leave it alone. Everything was a test. I'll get this horse to be comfortable, to lead by his ear. Wow, if I can make him comfortable to lead by an ear, how about his nose? Would he mind being led by a foot? Can I get him to put his head up or down by the weight of my hand on his pole? Can I get his body so relaxed that whichever part of his body I push on will softly flow away from the pressure, as though pushing a ball and having it roll away at the same intensity that it was pushed? Well, you can see what this did to my simple mind. As Tom drove away, he knew, of course, that this learning process would take about a year, and so I didn't see him for a year. I began to look at everything I wanted the horse to do in very small steps and increments. Open this door. Let the horse see and go through. Open the next door, and so on. When I load a horse for the first time in a trailer, the first objective is not to get the horse to load in the trailer. No, the first objective is to get him comfortable to whatever we're going to guide him with, whether a rope, a stick with a flag, a floppy whip. What you use isn't important, but the horse has to be relaxed and recognise it as a guide. So he has to be familiar with seeing and feeling it. To look for this elusive open door, the horse, just like a person, has to have a quiet, interested mind. And just like a person, he's usually left or right-handed, so one side is easier to move than the other. We open each separate door one at a time. Build on comfort, trust, and partnership. Raise the flag, rope, or whip and rub the horse until the horse doesn't flinch or move away. Now let us open a door. We want the horse to step over to the right. We raise our gadget on the left side until you see the horse acknowledge something is there. Wiggle it, and if the horse moves a step to the right, you've just opened a door by raising your left gadget, and the horse just went through the door by stepping to the right. You stop and pet the horse for a moment, then set up the next door. Move back to the left, raise your gadget on the right side, open the door and wiggle it or plop it on the ground, and the horse steps to the left. Through your open door, walk to the shoulder of the horse and pet him. Want to step into the trailer? You now have control of both sides, and the horse knows how to go through both the right-hand door and left-hand door. So wiggle your gadget behind the horse high enough for him to see it. Open the door. If he takes one step forward, he just went through your door. Pet the horse, and so on. You now hold the key to successfully training any animal. Small steps and open doors. By spending the time and making the effort, you'll become as competent as you desire to become. Tom Dorrance takes this to the master's level and has been willing to impart his knowledge to thousands of people. I asked Tom if I could pay him the next year after his visit, but he wouldn't hear of it. Said he was learning as much as I was. Typical Tom, it spoke volumes about a man who loves horses and only wants for them, not for himself. In Tom's quiet, unassuming leadership, he offered each person what they most needed, whether they recognised what it was or not. Usually, what Tom said to you would linger in your mind, maybe for some time, and then one day the answer to his comment would become recognisable, and you would find yourself saying, "Oh, that's what he meant." Tom didn't waste time on extra words. He thoughtfully opened the door to understanding and then waited for you to walk through. It was quite amazing. Tom's gift. Tom was a scholar with people and horses. Whether he recognised it as such, it became his gift to everyone. A true gift gives understanding and joy to the receiver, and if the gift was given from the heart, it comes back to the giver. Tom had an open heart and believed in the goodness of horses and the goodness of people. He believed that each horse and each person had something worthwhile to give. Without knowing it, Tom, by his understanding of horses and people, became the inspiration that enabled horses to have better lives and people to find success in following Tom's path. Thank you for joining us today. Happy horsing, and we'll see you next time.